Hello, everyone, all around the world. Welcome to another live talk with Race and Juan Carlos. We are collaborating to host this quite special series of live talks. And with me today, a very special guest, a mentor, a friend, um, a dear friend to my heart, to be honest, with a lot of experience to share with us. So I'm hoping that we'll have enough time for you today. Rachel, Mary Paling, welcome to
Thank
Race.
you, Jacob. Always a pleasure to be with you, speak with you, and delighted to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we're going to really dive into it. Um, we have a lot to share, and I'd like you to share as much as possible. We've got around 30 minutes. So if I may start with asking you if you could tell us a little bit, but I said a little bit because I know you've got quite some experience. So a little bit about yourself, Rachel.
Okay, well, where to start? I could go forwards or backwards, so maybe it's better to go forwards in life.
Okay.
Um,
Yes.
I started teaching languages. I started teaching English when I was 17 years old. I
Right.
moved to Spain, and that was one of my first jobs. And honestly, teaching has been a constant throughout my life, but I never, ever, ever dreamed that I would end up doing what I do.
Right.
So that was never in my ambitions, goals, dreams in life. It literally just happened.
Okay.
So languages, teaching really were my passions right from being a teenager. Then I actually went into studying law. And I wanted to be a human rights lawyer, actually. I was very interested in human rights, the rights to education as well, obviously the rights to freedom. And I specialized in humanitarian law
Right.
because I really, really do not like war, conflicts, all those sorts of things that we have in the world today.
Yeah.
And that was my sort of coming into that direction. However, along the way, I really came into this idea of connecting the law, the languages, the teaching, the experience. And I put those together to start to become a legal and business and executive language trainer.
Right.
And that was back in the year 2000, 2002, 2003. And it was in those years that I moved to Germany to fulfill that job.
Right.
And this great Scottish guy called Jim in the school in Germany said that he wanted to do language coaching.
Right.
And many of you may know the story. I said to Jim, what on earth is language coaching, Jim? And he said, follow the client, do what the client wants, and that's language coaching. But
Yeah.
for me, that wasn't enough. So I started to develop myself as a life coach. I did brain-based coaching back then. And I started to try things out with my clients. So I was full-time teaching, running in and out of companies, executives, lawyers, etc. And I was testing and trying coaching and neuroscience, and I was getting deeper and deeper and deeper into the topics.
Right.
And I would say that was my playground. From 2003 to 2012, that was me experiencing and developing the concept of language coaching. What is it?
Right.
And in 2010, 2011, there was a human resources learning and development manager in Germany who was a little bit damning of the language coaching concept because he said, you're nothing but a glorified trainer. And that was when I said, right, I'm going to create a concept. I'm going to crystallize it. It's going to be something with substance. And back in 2012, that's when I sat and created the whole concept, the courses. I got the ICF, the International Coach Federation accreditation. And that's it. That was the start of the training and the developing of the neurolanguage coaching concept.
Lovely. Lovely. Well, you said you wanted to specialize in human rights, and from my point of view, in a way, you are doing it with the training, the languages, the coaching, because I know you are a pioneer and an advocate in a way to for giving students around the world and teachers or educators the right tools to enjoy teaching languages, to be specific, and that's neuro language coaching.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I do think we're at that crossroads in time where our learners are different, our brains have changed,
yeah,
kids' brains are different, adults' brains are different, and teachers and trainers and educators are trying to find the way forwards.
yeah,
And they're missing the tools, they're missing the understanding of how to change their way of teaching.
yeah,
And that's what we're doing. We're really helping to equip teachers, trainers, educators in the world today with the necessary skills and tools which they can get from professional coaching, neuroscience, neuropsychology, emotional intelligence, and from doggies.
yes. Yep, they're all welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we can go back to new language coaching and make it as it's accredited course, and it's supported and backed up with research, science. You mentioned neuroscience. Can we hear a little bit more about how neuro language coaching as a method, if we can call it that, is supported by science?
Yeah, it's interesting because firstly, I was very reticent to call it a method, Jacob.
Yeah,
Right from the beginning, I was always very tentative, calling it an approach.
yeah,
And I've even been attacked, how can you call it a method? Actually, it wasn't me that started calling it was a method. It was all the participants
yes.
calling it a method. So
Okay.
now we're in over 1,500 people who have done the course across the world, and the majority of them have come in and
Yeah,
called it a method because it really is a systematized organization of how to deliver and teach
yeah,
languages.
yeah.
Now, that structure and systematization could include any other method,
Right.
because at the end of the day, we are adapting everything to our learners.
True.
So if our learner wants a certain way of doing something, like
Yeah.
storytelling or some direct translation or whatever, we will be tapping into all of the resources available for that client.
Yeah. True.
So that's the first thing about the method.
Okay.
Secondly, it's this question of, okay, how is this backed and supported by science?
Yeah.
First thing I want to say, which language training courses or which methods are fully bulletproof with scientific proof? That's my comment.
Yeah.
Secondly, the fact that I'm a private person, I'm not a university.
Yeah.
What we are doing is we are using the neuroscientific research that is available to all of us, and we
Yeah.
are integrating that into everything that we do.
Yeah.
So we're integrating the science of learning, which is proven. We're integrating the way that the brain functions and how to keep the brain calm, which is proven.
Yeah.
We're now, recently there's the research about synchronization of brain waves with teachers and learners. So we're integrating the neuroscience. So does that mean we are scientifically proven? Maybe the method itself or the approach itself has not got a university research stamp on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
However, we do have PhD students
Yeah.
that have tried it in the classroom. We've had master's students trying it in the classroom. We've done case studies, and we are demonstrating statistical impact in the learning.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll elaborate a little bit on this as well. So, from my understanding, science is all about, in a way, and this is, since the early days. So, science, you come up with something, out of studies and research, and then there's always the opponent who might question, debate, which is fine from my point of view. So what exactly, you mentioned you've been attacked, so what exactly are those, upon which ground that these attacks are?
I honestly think it's people who do not understand what we do. So we've been even accused of being a sect, Jacob. Like, what? Um, and it's true that people, when they don't understand, they just latch on to whatever they think is behind it.
Yeah.
There's nothing obscure about what we do. Everything is upfront, everything is open, everything is based on professional coaching, International Coach Federation, and I am a real stickler. I'm a lawyer.
Yes.
I'm a stickler for standards, ethics. And that is what we are bringing into everything that we do. And the science that we base everything on, it is science-based.
Yeah.
So I actually think it's when people don't understand what we do, or they don't like it because they were the first to do it, or they are not doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know what people think. And honestly, Jacob, a lot of people get it confused with neurolinguistic programming.
True. That's a good point. So, yeah.
And we have nothing to do with neurolinguistic programming. I've never done NLP. I don't know what it is, except for what I've read or what I've, heard. I don't work with NLP because I've never studied it.
Yeah.
I've studied pure neuroscience. I've studied applied neuroscience. I've studied the research papers themselves. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a mystery to me,
Well, I think all I can say that you're kind of attracting people's attention, which is good in a way. So I hope those who want to learn more should just come and sit on one table and make it more of a professional discussion and debate. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Those who are disgruntled with what we're doing, please, I open the debate and let's openly talk about it. If they are so professional,
right,
if they are so academic, or they are so open to discussion, I'm always open to discussion.
Super. Rachel, you moved after that. So you mentioned Neurolanguage Coaching, and then there was another journey that ended up with you establishing NeuroHeart Education Foundation.
That's right, absolutely. At the end of the day, and coming back to what we've just said, my heartfelt desire has always been about assisting teachers and educators across the world.
Right.
Whether they are business trainers, school teachers, whatever country they are in, and to help as much as we can those teachers who cannot access the normal channels of help. And in 2019, before the pandemic, I was doing a lot of traveling and a lot of free voluntary talks. And I still do a lot of voluntary talks. I never take any payment for plenaries or anything that I do when I'm talking across the world. And I really wish to serve and help. And that was then that idea of how can we do that from obviously you build up a business. And the question then is, how can we help those who really need it? And for me, it was always that vision of setting up a foundation, always. And I would say it's been my driving factor, my driving motivation. A lot of people say, why bother? Well, actually, I could go and sit on a beach on a hammock and just, get on with my life, and I'd be quite happy. Right. But for me, that how can we help? How can we serve? So yes, a lot of the profits that we made in the company when we were in the pandemic, and we had those online conferences, the profits that we made from those online conferences, we plowed into this foundation and to set it up. Right. And that's what we are now embarking on. We have a foundation with courses designed to enhance teaching.
Right.
or to enhance teacher or learner well-being. And
Super.
that for me is then the vision of how we can really help more and more and more.
Lovely. So how can the audience then in a way tap into this foundation, benefit from it, or maybe support it as well?
Absolutely. We do have some crowdfunding pages that we're setting up. So
Right.
people are going to be able to donate and help us in some
Right.
way. We are obviously, we're running the foundation with courses that if the schools can pay for them, brilliant. If they
Right.
can't, we're hoping to cover those with funding and sponsorship that we're receiving. So yes, we're trying to balance it so that we can reach everybody.
Yeah.
So anybody who is interested in helping us, they want to donate or they want to join us in fundraising, or they are interested in their schools receiving these courses.
Yeah.
And these courses will be available in 12 different languages. So we're
Wow.
hoping to reach schools all over the world
All
and
over
kids
the world. Yeah.
all over the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And I have to
Yeah.
say,
Yes.
this is a sneaky preview for our audience.
Oh, thank you.
Juan Carlos and I were having a little bit of a chat
Yeah.
about maybe next October organizing, and I hope you're going to be there,
Okay.
a sponsored walk in Machu Picchu
Right.
to raise funds for the foundation.
For the foundation. Well,
Yeah.
brilliant. Well, I'm quite close, I think, now. However, I will check if I'll make it because it's been already a while since we met last time.
It has. It has. What was it? 2018.
Yeah, we were planning to attend the conference in London, but
Yeah.
here we are.
When you got in the way.
Yep. And I have to say, you mentioned how that desire that you always want to help, and I absolutely second that. I've noticed, Rachel, that um, you know, even throughout the pandemic, one thing you always did, still do, you always making sure to really ask people if they need anything, whatever support you can provide. And for me, this is quite, um, it's quite, what's the word? So, it's so great of you, really, to like give in, and despite all the busy schedule you're having, but however, you always manage to have that time for people personally.
Yeah.
So, absolutely grateful for that.
Yes.
Um,
And honestly, in the pandemic, we had one of our coaches who was extremely ill and
yeah,
really ill. And I was very, very close to that person,
yeah,
even sending money to help. During the Ukraine war, some of the Ukrainian ladies were having
yeah,
problems. I even sent money to some of them as well to
yeah,
help. So for me, it's not about not being available. It's not about me at all. It's always about how can I help others. And when people reach out and they say, I'm having a bad time, I want to be there for people.
yeah,
Definitely. Juan Carlos is with us.
yeah. Alice is
Juan
with us.
Carlos! Yes, 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 yes. Whenever I can. I always said I don't care how busy or how many people become neurolanguage coaches in the world. I really want to be accessible.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest, how you do it. I'm always aware when I'm trying to reach out to you, because in my head, yeah, all this neuro language coaching group, and then you send a message, and before, I'd say few hours, whatever, and then you are back with the answer, and I'm thinking, and I do feel that, oh, this is quite, close and is personalized. So I don't know how you do it, but absolutely, you know, we take off our hats for you. So
Thank you. I'm working
yeah.
on my toning. How to continue. No, really. You know what? There's no excuse. We all have 5 minutes in life.
True. True. That's a great lesson by itself. Right. So that's the NeuroHeart Education Foundation, and then we've got the Academy, IELCA. Would you like to tell us about it a little bit?
Yes, and in some ways it's this sort of separation out so that it's very clear.
Yeah.
We have the NeuroHeart Education Foundation, which is the non-profit side.
Right.
And then we have everything that we run through the business, which is through the Academy, which is the Accredited Educational and Language Coaching Academy.
Yeah.
And there it really is this Academy of Excellence, which carries the accredited programs with the accreditation from the ICF and the UK Standards Board. And they are not only for language, but also for any teachers.
Right.
The same as it's almost like it's the mirror of the NeuroHeart Education Foundation, but the foundation has more programs with well-being for teachers, for learners, and more things like how to work with dyslexic students, how to work with inclusivity in the classroom, how to create superstar kiddies with confidence and helping teachers to manage helping learners to manage their emotions.
Yeah.
So yes, they're almost like mirrors of each other. One is the business and the profit side, and the other is the non-profit side.
Lovely. Okay, we've got a couple of questions. Well, a question and a comment. So I might start with a question again. We've got Juan Carlos. Is a question for you, Rachel. How is the ideal candidate to become a neurolanguage coach? Who is the ideal? Sorry. Yeah.
Right. So thank you, Juan Carlos. At the end of the day, we do need the person to be a language teacher, trainer, or educator. Because in neurolanguage coaching, we're not teaching how to teach a language. So people come to us and they must have that ground knowledge of how to teach a language. And it can be any language. So we have neurolanguage coaches across the world in multiple countries, about 85 different countries, in multiple languages. And the structure and the framework can be adapted to any language. And the reason that people have to have that knowledge of being a language teacher is because what we are doing is we are changing the way that they deliver that knowledge around the language. So they're changing how to teach it. And they're integrating professional coaching in the way that they communicate. They're integrating the neuroscience, plus the whole structure and the whole way of delivery is different. It's very, very different to the traditional methods of delivering a language.
Lovely, thank you. And here is from Uzma. I think this is related to NLP, I think. Fortunately. Yes. I was confused before I discovered what neurolanguage coaching until Jacob, I don't know, explained it very well. So that's good to know. Rachel, at the moment, I know you are preparing for, I won't say the biggest event, but let's say the biggest event coming in this month, end of this month.
2 weeks' time, actually. It's 2 weeks.
Oh, God.
Honestly, I think we're in a time machine. I think time is getting faster for all of us. Firstly, I have a very big event this weekend in Athens where I'm really grateful to be invited as a plenary speaker. So I'm excited about that. And I'll be talking about professional coaching, to coach or not to coach. That's the question.
That's the question, yeah.
And then on the 15th of March, on the 20th of March, we start the Neurolanguage Coach Conference. It's the 8th Neurolanguage Coaching Conference. It's incredible how we've done 8 years of conferences.
as you mentioned it there somewhere on a post, starting from Germany. Well, can we just get a little bit of an overlap, like what is it, time
You,
lapse? Yes, an overview of
yeah,
you started in Germany back in the days. Um, I was there. I was happy to attend that one.
Jacob,
Um,
when we met for the first time,
for the first time.
2015,
Yeah. Yeah.
2015 in Mainz in Germany.
Yeah.
I remember walking into the venue and there you were, and it was like,
Yes.
yes, that was phenomenal. That was it was a nerve-wracking event for me because it was my first conference ever.
Right.
And we had people coming from all over the world, from the US, from Brazil, from Dubai, etc. All over the world, people came into that conference, and it was phenomenal. It
Yeah.
really was. Then 2018, we were in Edinburgh.
Right.
And that's when we
True.
brought over Lee and Andrew and his father, and we had
Yes. Oh, yeah.
amazing.
It
The year
was.
after, 2019, we were in Lisbon,
Yeah.
and that's when most people met Elsa for the first
Elsa.
time.
Yes.
Yeah. And then 2020, we were going to be in London, but we were forced to pull the plug because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And literally in 1 month, we turned that conference around and we did an online conference that was just, oh my goodness, that was a heart explosion across the world.
It was.
It
It
really
was.
was.
Yeah.
We were all locked in. I think
Yeah.
we were all emotional.
Yeah.
And we had 2 days of solid conference where we just stuck together like
Yeah.
birds of a feather. It was amazing.
Yes. True. I remember that.
On again, we came back online, and again, we had over 250 people all together connected in. And then 2022, we kind of ventured out into the world face to face again. And that's where we were in Sitges and near Barcelona. And we've stayed in Sitges since then. So 2023 and this year as well, we're in Sitges for the conference.
Lovely. Um, is there a possibility to know about next year? Or is that a little bit too early?
A little bit too early. There might be some surprises. We'll see.
Okay.
It will probably be very different next year.
Lovely. And
Mm,
yes, okay, intriguing. One thing I remember, almost all participants, attendees to the conference, shared one thought between them all. I'm not sure if you've heard this before, but I've heard it a lot, and that is the conference, Neurolanguage Coaching conferences, or the conference has something different. So they started with the amount of learning, which always feels like attending intensive courses at an academy. And I
right.
remember we always, you always forget that. Oh, 5 minute break, go quickly, come back. And so it is, an immense amount of learning. And
Yes,
then you said it was just one solid, you know, group all together.
that's
And
right.
that is something just brilliant about the conference.
That's right. And I would say we have been the first language conference worldwide to keep our group together.
Yeah.
And everybody gets the same experience. Any other conference that came after is copying us. They copied us
Oh, it's
because
hard to copy.
we have all language conferences get people in breakout rooms and they got
Yeah.
multiple speakers at the same time.
Yeah.
We've never done that. Never, never,
True.
never. And
True.
what you get such a unity and such a connection and such an experience.
Yeah.
It's like a heart explosion. It really
Oh,
is.
it is always.
Yeah.
Um, right. I'm just being aware of the time. We would love to go on and on. And I just say thank you, Virginia, for your comments. Rachel, as we end this session, any final thoughts?
Well, firstly, just to say thank you for all of those teachers, trainers, educators who've done the Neurolanguage Coaching course, who know exactly what it's about. And really all of them who are bringing that out to their learners, because I know that they are impacting the way that their learners learn. They're helping people so much across the world. It's untrue. So grateful to everybody who's done the courses. And now, well, really grateful for all the support from all, I'm going to say, all different angles of life through these, well, it's now 13 years, well, 12, 13 years that I'm in this. And it's been an up and down journey. It's really been a rough journey. I remember in 2017 bringing out the first book, I was terrified.
Yeah.
And just to say, you know, thank you to everyone for your beautiful support, your beautiful encouragement, your beautiful comments along the way. Without all of you, I could never have kept going. It was a tough but beautiful journey, and still is.
Still is, yeah, yeah. And to be honest, on behalf of Race and everybody who is listening and watching, Rachel, a really big and warm thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you very much. That's it, everyone. I'm afraid that's the end of our wonderful session with Rachel today. Until we see you next time, goodbye.